Welcome to the Rob Zombie School of Filmmaking. In this program, you will learn invaluable lessons on how to make your movie the patented Rob Zombie way. You will be able to hone your craft in methods such as dirt. Rub dirt all over your actors' faces. Make them look as grimy and disgusting as possible. Rub dirt on their costumes. Rub dirt all over the set decoration. Rub dirt all over the camera lens to make it look as grimy and muggy and unappealing as possible, as only you can view in a Rob Zombie film. You'll will learn methods such as cussing and perversion. Is your scene of dialogue not working quite the way you want it to? Is your dialogue a little bit flat? Well, just add some swearing to it. Fuck, shit, cocksucker, motherfucker, dicksucker, anything like that. Just throw it into the lines here and there, whether it makes sense or not. Make your characters very crass, and of course make them perverted. Have them hump things. Have grotesque sexual situations. Anything to make your characters as disgusting and unappealing as the film looks. Be able to hone crafts such as Sherry Moon Zombie. Nobody can do it quite the way that she does. She is an incredible resource, and she has to be in a Rob Zombie movie no matter what, no matter if it doesn't fit, no matter if someone can do it better than she does. She's an integral part. You'll be able to learn sources such as 70s rock. Include the best hits of the 70s on your soundtrack, and you can never go wrong. And extra points if you can have it seem like it's set in the 70s but not really specify it. And of course, skills such as 16mm film. Very important. Very, very important. Are you figuring out a way to end your movie? Don't know how to quite get it to the ending you want to? Well, that's very easy. Just have it cut in the middle of a scene and cut to 16mm footage of your characters doing mundane things. It'll give it a deep feel. And extra points if you can begin your movie with a pretentious quote that may or may not make sense to the overall story of the film. Learn these crafts and you will become a Rob Zombie filmmaker and have great success as long as it's crowdfunded. 31. Let's talk about 31 a little bit. This is Rob Zombie's new movie. This is his next movie to Lords of Salem, which I reviewed last year, and I wasn't the biggest fan of that movie. And I think I even said in that review I don't really want to watch anything else from Rob Zombie, but here I am watching 31. The good news is this movie is actually his best in a couple of years, and I liked a lot of it. There was a lot of it I felt was enjoyable. And going into it, I didn't really know quite what the plot was or anything like that. Movie, of course, it's set on Halloween, October 31st, 31. And really what it's about this kind of sick, sadistic game headed by these weird, sick, sadistic rich people. One of them being Malcolm McDowell, who's actually really good in his role, and they're dressed up as like these Victorian people, which is kind of weird and cool. They kidnap these people. The main characters, they're these carnies. They hijack them in the middle of the road. They bring them to this abandoned facility, and they start this. It's like basically like a Running Man, Hunger Games, Battle Royale kind of thing, where they're in this labyrinth, this maze. And these killers hired by the rich folk are trying to kill them. And they have to stop them, and they have the rest of the night to survive, basically. And that's really what it's all about, and all the twists and turns along the way. And I think that's kind of a cool concept, like about these, I don't know, rich, bored people. Like, you think of something like, in a weird way to compare it to Trading Spaces, where, like, rich people, I guess, are just so fucking bored with their lives, they have to create these games. So instead of, like, making a rich man poor and a poor man rich, they're like, let's fucking kill these people in very disgusting ways. And, who do we hire but Rob Zombie to do that? And there are some funny, absurd parts to it, which I really like. Like, we have this little guy, this dwarf actor, who's a Spanish Nazi. He's dressed up like a little Hitler. He has, like, a swastika on his chest, and he's like, puta, chinga tu madre, things like that. Which I thought was really absurd and funny, I thought, and basically these hitmen for hire who are pursuing these people, like the rats in the maze that they are. Also, there's like they each have their kind of unique flavor to them. One I really liked was Sex and Death. They're these German people. One of them is the guy from the Adam Sandler movie, the Do-Over. The big, tall German guy, Torsten Vogt, he's death, so he kind of like reminds you of like, Seventh Seal kind of thing almost. And E.G. Daily, actually, the voice of Chucky, not Brad Dourif Chucky on Rugrats. She's Sex, so she's jumping around. Ooh, doo, 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 doo. I think that's really funny and absurd. And of course, I'd say the highlight of this movie is Robert Brake playing Doom, Doomhead, as they call him. He's kind of the main guy. He's almost like, if you want to compare it to something else, he's like the Anton Sugar of this film. He's an unstoppable killing machine, and he's actually the character that opens the movie. We see this great scene in black and white, where his face is like right up to the camera, and he's talking to someone off screen. Almost feels like he's talking to us as the audience, and giving this big long speech, and it's very entrancing, and it's a really good performance. And just plays this completely off the wall, sadistic killer. Which, if there's anything I can praise the movie for, it's his performance. Brake is an absolute treasure in this movie. I thought he was the best thing about it. At the same time, though, I'm watching this and I'm trying to enjoy it, but also like fighting against the Rob Zombie-isms, which you get in all of it. I do like the '70s rockin' kind of stuff. The movie begins with a Joe Walsh track, "Walk Away," which I love that song. So hey, why not put in the movie? And the characters doing their just like disgusting things. Like Rob Zombie never fails to make characters that you don't like, which I think works for something like Devil's Rejects, where we're following the villains. But I guess in so many ways the characters in this film, Sherry Moon Zombie is in it. Jeff Daniel Phillips also in the movie. They're also in Lords of Salem. We don't know to root for them because they're kind of obnoxious characters, so that's kind of a problem. But at the same time, like these characters, they're actually carnies. They're on the road, they're trying to figure things out. Then this shit happens, and they have to deal with it. But I do think it's at least a little bit different than say something like Hills Have Eyes, where it's like, oh, the nice suburban family is getting attacked by these monsters. Well, here they're kind of equals in this weird sadistic tete-a-tete. So in a weird way, I found it kind of appropriate. So it didn't bother me as much. But then there's stylistic choices that kind of bother me a little bit. Like, if you think Zack Snyder is a little bit too overindulgent in slow motion, here it's like the low-rent version. It's like, let's just do a scene in slow motion for no reason. Let's do some weird screen scrolls and freeze frame the screen for no real reason. So there's some stylistic choices that aren't great, and it just looks like a grimy, unappealing movie. Like, Rob Zombie is pretty much known for at this point, which either you like it or you don't. I'm kind of on the fence about it, and I'm kind of on the fence about this movie. But you watch an actor like Robert Brake, who I'm not all that familiar with. This really was a revelation of a movie to me. The only thing I can really, off the top of my head, say, yeah, I know him from is Batman Begins. Actually, he was Joe Chill, so he fucking killed Batman's parents. So now he's going to go after these guys. So good luck. And that, of course, was a very, very, very small role. And I would imagine, looking through his filmography, there's going to be a lot of bit parts, a lot of small roles, supporting characters, things like that. And here he's not the focus, but he's used sparingly and to very, very good effect. He's absolutely brilliant in the movie. But at the same time, I'm watching this, fighting against the Rob Zombie-isms, trying to enjoy it, and I'm just thinking, gosh, this is such a great performance. I wish it existed in a better movie. As good as his delivery of the dialogue is, I wish it was better written. So, Rob Zombie is his own worst enemy when it comes to his own movies. And of course, without giving too much away, the ending is really a letdown. With all these villains that show up in the movie, Sex and Death, the two brothers, the Nazi dwarf, they all kind of suffer from like Bond villain monologuing, where you're like, okay, they're talking too much. Why don't they just do something? This is obviously Rob Zombie not being able to write out of a situation other than, oh, they're going on for a long time. Same, like, even something like, which was one of his best movies, or arguably his best movie, even more arguably his only good movie, Devil's Rejects, where, like, the ending of that, the sheriff, he's, like, about to kill Sherry Moon Zombie, but then all of a sudden, someone comes and saves the day just out of nowhere, and it's like, well, could you do a little bit better than that? And this movie suffers even worse from that. even lesser well written than that. And basically the movie kind of stops in the middle of the scene at the end, and it cuts to 16mm footage, which he does in all his fucking movies, which is just so fucking obnoxious, where it's like, oh yeah, okay, we see old footage of these people, and we're supposed to think, oh, what a deep fucking thing that makes us think of, like, better times, or whatever he's trying to get across. So the simple fact is, Rob Zombie, I think he's a very talented director. Even with some of his stylistic choices, I can deal with them. But as a writer, he doesn't know how to write a good movie. He can write good sections of a movie. There are particular sections of this movie that I thought were very, very effective and very well constructed. But as an overall kind of thing, I think Rob Zombie needs help. And I said it last year with Lords of Salem, and I will shout it this year. Rob Zombie, get someone to help you with your screenplays. Honestly, if this was polished a little bit better, if it was written a little bit better, if it had a better structure to it, if it had more of a satisfying kind of conclusion to it, I think this would be a rave review instead of just me struggling with trying to like the movie and trying to say positive things about it. So ultimately, I'm kind of on the fence. Like, I don't know, like maybe like a 5 or 6. I'd give it. It's hard to say. It's not a great movie, but I would say it's certainly better than Lords of Salem. Certainly better than Halloween 2, and maybe even Halloween as well. So it might actually be his best movie since Devil's Rejects. So I don't know. I keep saying I don't want to see more from Rob Zombie. For some reason, I'm drawn to it because there is something about his movies that is enjoyable. There is something that keeps audiences, specifically, people who like horror, who like the grotesque, who like the absurd, keep coming back to. But ultimately, it's sort of an unsatisfying experience overall, which is very disappointing considering some very great things to this movie, particularly Robert Brake and his brilliant standout performance, and I really hope to see more from this guy. I think this guy could be like a fucking Oscar winner if he found the right projects. Don't do more. Don't get caught in the Rob Zombie trap. This is fine. Just do this one movie. Work with someone better next. So there's that. Did you see 31? Comment below. Let me know what you think. Be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. Visit dare237.com and stay tuned. This is 31 days of horror, horror movie reviews every day. So stay tuned for more. Until next time, I'll see you later, and stay scared.